Love is the most important connection that we can bring you, so you can see it in yourselves. We tell you, dear ones, a gathering of spirits on earth is taking place right now. Although you see difficulties every time you turn on your news, the reality is that everything is changing. Yes, change is at hand, but we are not worried, for the most incredible angels have found their way to planet Earth. They are in key parts throughout the entire globe, not only to carry the light and speak it aloud, but also just to hold. These angels bring the beautiful energy of home to planet Earth. You can find peace in a chaotic world. You need not wait for conditions, people, or anything in your external life to change. You can be calm as circumstances and energies whirl around you and simply observe without participating vibrationally in the chaos. You have been and always will be at the center of your own vibrational universe. Your world is a co-creation between all souls who participate in it, as much as a symphony is a co-creation between all the instruments and players that participate. Every player of a symphony has their unique desires. One wants to play strings, one wants to play horns, one wants to play keyboards. They all want to play in harmony to create an experience that is moving to themselves and inspiring for their listeners. Remember to pause, feel, process your grief, mourn, and balance your emotions as these death events present, within and without. It is vital to maintain mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health during this phase of rapid change. Equinox Gateway opens next week. The typical pattern of opening 3 days before an energy influx is over, notably for these organic alignments at solstice, equinox, and eclipse passages. Here we glow, opening a whole month before equinox, flowing in these consciousness-expanding waves for the next 7 weeks. I counseled ascending hearts from 5 continents over the last 2 weeks. Everyone is experiencing the intense energies, expansion, revelations, and choice points for unity and higher trajectories. Sometimes it affects the land, communities, and sacred places we steward, and we feel it on many levels. We can enter the realm beyond thought, into the state of knowing. This is a knowing that the ego cannot disprove. The presence of knowing includes the emotions of the heart. We are in a quantum state of limitless, life-enhancing creativity. We can experience non-localized gratitude, love, compassion, freedom, and joy. This is the beginning of self-realization. You are those angels, dear ones. You are those incredible beings that we love to watch from home. Although you see the higher aspects, you sometimes get wrapped up in the lower ones, as all humans do. We see you as masters walking on a very dense planet. You've come in to bring the higher vibrations and templates of the new planet Earth. Bringing in love is necessary to activate those templates. It's a magical time to be here, because the reality is you're carrying something that no one else can carry in the way that you do. And that is the highest aspect of love that you have available. The bodysuit itself can be programmed. You can program it yourself, or you can allow it to be programmed by others or by default. Every advertisement that you see is actually programming your bodysuit, sometimes simply through repetition. And again, you're not here to convince anyone of something or to bring someone over to your side. Imagine that there is a divine director, aware of every desire in every heart. This divine director is so aware of every nuance, feeling, and note that each player is sent, in each moment, intuitive direction as to how to best play their part for their good and the good of the whole. As each player allows this energy of love to move them, they become part of a glorious whole. Suppose one of the players forgets the beauty of being in harmony. They want to be heard. They want to play the loudest music and get the most attention. They want to feel special above everyone else, and they don't care how they go about it. They ignore the energy of love that moves them and think about how to stand out. Disconnected from the power of love that moves all in harmony, they play a discordant melody in the performance. The other players still have a choice. They can remain true to their guidance, play in harmony with one another, and still create a beautiful performance for themselves. If the player who wanted attention had been listening to their own guidance, they would receive directions to quit the symphony and go off independently. They would have been guided to embrace their own style, attract their own followers, and allow the praise and adulation they seek. No loving desire is refused, and while the desire to be loved above others is not so loving, the desire for singular success and recognition is just fine. As we become aware of our senses beyond the physical world, our awareness begins to open to a brighter, more beautiful world of experience in which everything is true, alignment. There is no dissimulation. It is toward this kind of realization that we are being called. It is innate within our own being and is what we deeply know. In this state of being, we can be aware of ourselves as living fractals of infinite consciousness. The expression of our human persona is directed by our complete consciousness, according to our desires for certain experiences. Awareness of our presence beyond our human persona enables us to understand what human life means for us and why we experience the scenarios that we do. This is part of our inner knowing. When we are in a state of clarity, our hidden abilities appear in our realization. If we can realize that we are infinite consciousness, there is nothing that can keep us from manifesting anything that we desire, and we can be thoroughly heart-centered in all of our motivations. We have absolute freedom to enjoy our best lives in deepest love and gratitude. What would happen if you made eye contact with and smiled at everyone you saw? You would recognize them from home. You'd remember their spirit in some way. The reality is you're all beautiful beings from home. Bringing that energy in and reminding people who they really are sets the template for the new earth, and that is happening at an incredible pace. The earth herself, as we've mentioned, only had about 80 years of support left for humans, but she is doing everything she can to change that outcome. She's evolving in different ways to be able to support the 8 billion people who are now tipping the scales and weighing her down. You are playing a huge role, whoever you are. Now, we know some of you do not believe you are teachers. Some of you do not think you are healers or even light workers. But you would not be here right now. You would not be reading this message if you did not have an important role to play yourself. There are many who've decided that they're done. They just want to go home. They don't want to be here any longer. There are always people who will play discordant melodies in your life. They are the ones who have not yet learned that the divine can fulfill all desires in a way that is good for all concerned. They demand that they get their way. They insist you behave as they wish. They attempt to force their opinions upon you. They cry for attention in unhealthy ways. Nonetheless, dear ones, even with these forceful and often misdirected souls in your life and upon your earth, you can go to the source and simply ask for a way to handle the situation with love and peace. You can remain rooted in self-love. You can love the light within yourself and focus on the light within all. You need not give up your peace to those who would easily attempt to knock you out of it for the sake of their own agendas. Whether you are talking about public figures or family members, No one is truly trying to rob you of your peace. They are simply not centered in their own. They do not yet know their true connection to the loving source. They don't listen to, acknowledge, or even trust their guidance. They don't know any better. The child who throws a tantrum doesn't know their loving parents can work out a mutually agreeable solution. The adult that throws a tantrum doesn't know their loving source can guide all to an agreeable solution. So let others do what they feel they must and give your power back to God. If you worry about your freedom, realize that you are free to emanate and therefore allow into your space whatever vibrations you choose. When you fear for your economy, go back to the divine because, aligned with God, there is always abundant flow. When you fear for your health or your children or your loved ones, rest in the reassuring and comforting love of God, as we mentioned last week. By simply sitting and breathing with the intent to receive until you feel and know the love that constantly supports you. The world is swirling with many diverse energies right now. You are sensitive and you feel them. You may feel feelings that feel like winds passing through you, and indeed, perhaps they are. Perhaps a wave of someone else's fear just passed right through you, but if you had none of your own active at the moment, you would not feel it. Perhaps a wave of sadness passes through you, and it may well have originated elsewhere, but if you did not have sadness active in this moment, you would not feel it. On the way to self-realization, we become aware of our infinite essence and unlimited creativity. We can realize our eternal essence of conscious presence with unlimited abilities in creating our personal experiences in whatever way we wish to express ourselves. We only have to focus on what we want and align our emotional presence with it. Whatever we experience in any dimension is a result of our own energetic,